What's your take on antitrust? Is big tech too big?
I'm one of the 4 founders of the EFF. So I am really against monopoly powers being used in unfair antitrust manners, not opening up the world to equal competition, using your power in unfair ways. And I think that's happened a lot in big tech, and that they can get away with a lot of bad things. Everywhere I go, people love technology aspects of it, but then they always find other things to grieve about, whether it's, difficulty to use and I don't have any choice and I'm kind of forced into this mode and things change and I have no control over it. And there's an awful lot. A company that has a strong presence in one market, using that presence to grow another market is sort of unfair. The example that I used to use long ago was, well, if you owned all the gas stations, and then you said we're converting the nozzles of all of our gas stations, and they will only work with a new car that we're coming out with, that would just be unfair. That would be, using your power in one market to subsume another. And we see this all over the place. I mean, just apps that come standard with products like phones, do that to an extent. So I'm pretty much in favor of looking into splitting up companies. I mean, I wish Apple on its own had split up a long time ago and spun off independent divisions to faraway places and let them think independently the way Hewlett-Packard did when I worked there. But that's my opinion. It's not like there's one set of facts that makes it right. Other people could come to other conclusions. But I think that big tech has gotten too big, it's too powerful a force in our life, and it's taken our choices away.
Steve, what is
it's hard to escape.
Prescription then to break up big tech? Selling off pieces of Apple, selling off pieces of Facebook? What would be your prescription?
I think Apple's the best of the companies for a lot of different reasons, caring about the customers and just making money off good products, not really tracking you and following you. But I think a lot of other companies should be, like especially Google and Facebook, allow competition. In the example of Facebook, give me a choice to pay for almost no tracking, and explain to me, yes, if I let a friend in that's not really a good friend, they may get some of my data that I didn't want them to, but I made a mistake. That's fine. Or Facebook, or force them to have an ability to easily export a file that you could export into a new book, and it would bring along all your friends. That's the most important thing, as well as your timeline and your other data. And you could just tell all your Facebook friends, come on over to New Book, and we're instantly still in the same friends groups. That would enforce competition. Competition forces a company to make good products and be the best at it, and not just say, we've got you trapped.
Steve, is data the biggest concern here? Is that what worries you the most?
The data that's accumulated on people.
Big data,
it should be done. Yes, it does worry me. I wouldn't say the most. A lot of things worry me about big tech. But in cases of data about you personally and like tracking you and things like that, that's only one factor. And to some people it doesn't matter, and to others it does. What it should be is honesty. I rate good in the world, doing good things, as honesty is at the peak, the very peak. And if you think you're getting one level of protection of your security and your safety and knowledge about you, you should be getting that level. If you send mail to somebody and say a few little things, hey, my favorite color is green to my wife, well, that should be kind of private. It's kind of like whispering in an ear, and it shouldn't be that anyone else ever had access and heard it. Look what we hear about, Amazon Alexa and even Siri, where human beings listen to data that's recorded. That's beyond what you think's going on. You think you have a level of privacy, you should have it. I'm always for the consumer over the producer.
Steve, when we transition to talk about cryptocurrency, is it the future or all hype?
Cryptocurrency, of course, Bitcoin is an amazing example. And, and it hasn't been hacked or destroyed or messed up with the software. It's really lasted and done its job for, I don't know, a decade or whatever. And you never heard of any technology that, had code that was that secure. Bitcoin is gold. But then a whole ton of other people, 200 other companies that have their own little coins that want to be currency. And I don't believe in that. I don't like to track stocks. I've never used Apple stock app. I don't want to look at Bitcoin prices and invest in it. However, I'm getting involved in a couple of startups now, and that's not my reason for being here today, but a couple of startups based on on blockchain, which is the technology that makes things like Bitcoin work, but our blockchain will have tokens that aren't the equivalent of cash. It's not like you trade a token, it just becomes artificial cash. No, it's like the tokens are representative of ongoing, efficient companies that are very profitable now. I'm very conservative economically and financially, and so I'm only getting involved in these to basically have another financing arm for companies that are already very profitable and making money.
So then talk to me about Facebook's Libra. Do you perhaps see those as a competitor if you're having some money invested in other cryptocurrencies or the blockchain technology? What's your take on Libra?
Oh, no competitor at all. It's kind of like, what I'm talking about is where your tokens, your cyber tokens, are just like shares of stock in a company that's ongoing making money. Now, Libra, I think, is just, I don't know. I don't even know the principle behind it, but I'm sure that it comes into that category of antitrust because you've got so many clients using your product. Oh, all of a sudden, we'll get them into our cryptocurrency, we'll challenge Bitcoin. I don't know. That's just a whole department that should be done independently with competition and, so let's see how that goes. I'm not really against it, but I'm against any bad uses, implementations, not giving your users choice or knowledge. Be honest. At least be transparent.
Well,
transparency is the best thing you have.
In terms of transparency, you were honest enough to come and talk about some of your new ventures and caveating it with the fact that that's not why you're here. But because you gave us a teaser, talk to us about some of the new adventures. What can we expect from you in the coming months and years ahead?
I actually do a lot of public speaking around the world, but right now I do have about 4 startups going on. I like startups, young companies with an idea, trying to make something out of it, much more than the big, huge tech companies. And, one of them, Silicon Valley Comic-Con, and another is WazU. WazU, it's a university for technical education. I'm proud to have my name attached to such a thing. I'd wanted that for a long time. I also, and a couple of these are blockchain. We're going Malta. We're going to do stuff. There are countries like Malta that desperately want to become known for well-regulated and very open but very usable blockchain companies. So we're choosing Malta for one, and Gibraltar worked into their exchange for another company. Those companies are called Equi and F-Force. But I don't want to. I'm not here to promote myself or promote them. But no, I have a busy life still.